Well,
so we went to Winnipeg.
Well, this is episode 2.
welcome
We're going to
to
talk about Winnipeg.
welcome to episode 2 of the Big
Beer Brothers.
Beer Dogcast.
Yeah, there we are.
Big
The dog,
beer.
the
Big-
Dogcast.
The Dogcast.
Thanks to everybody for listening to episode 1. We broke all types of records.
Yeah, we
The
had
whole
over 2 people.
followers.
2 followers. I think the big joke that one day is Joe Rogan didn't double his followers in one day, and we
That's
did.
right.
So,
Exactly.
so we're okay. But
So-
Don't take the number count behind that, but we just doubled it.
but we did have some feedback that people had listened to it on their way. I forget his name now. There was a gentleman that went to Calgary and said he listened to it on the way and went to a couple of places that we had been to and posted on his stories and tagged us, which is great. But
Well, we're never wrong about what we love about beer and breweries, right?
Yeah.
So people can take, they
it's
can.
pretty hard to be wrong.
Exactly.
And steer people in the wrong direction. Sorry, you went to a bad place to have a great beer. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah. But we wanted to come on in episode 2 and tell you about our recent trip to Manitoba. We say Manitoba because we hit a lot of spots on the way to Winnipeg and back, and
Yeah.
then we actually hit every brewery in Winnipeg. As
100%.
far
We
as
almost
we
need
know,
a trophy for that,
there
right?
should be a trophy. Yeah.
Yeah.
We even hit some that weren't breweries. We didn't realize if you Google it, there's great places like Next Door, which is a brewery, but it's actually next door to Good Neighbor Brewery,
Mhm.
and it's a restaurant that serves some of their beer next door. So
We didn't get a
it's great.
chance to eat there, but it's on the list.
And we had some others that were listed at addresses such as Torque that does some brewing for other breweries, I guess, right?
Yeah.
And so they were listed at the same address. So
Yeah.
by having the tour at Torque Brewing and all that, but we could start at the beginning a little bit. One of the big special of the whole trip was we had a chance to preview a brand new brewery in Moosomin.
Yep.
Yeah, it wasn't even open yet.
Wasn't even open yet, and he was the brewer there was great. He gave us a little bit of a preview on Tuesday. I guess we were there. They did their grand opening on the Friday. So
Yeah. Yeah, we got in there, got a sample their 4 beers, and
Yeah.
very good.
big shout out to them, and thanks for having us in. And that was one of our first videos that we did.
I thought his beers were, I mean, he loves sample a little bit. I don't know if that's legal or not.
But I thought they were exceptional. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah, they were very good.
And he's rolled out a few more since, I've noticed.
Oh, has he?
And the brewery's a little bit more finished, and I'd love to go back.
Yeah,
I want to
Um,
go back and.
because we were there before
Yeah.
even the signs were up, what was on the tap, right? So
And so it's Skout Brewing. It's in Moosomin, just off the highway. If you're
You
ever
can see it
driving
from the
through.
highway.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's right there. Stop in and have
it's
a
got a
quick visit.
nice bright
Yeah,
orange logo right on the front, so
yeah,
hard to
it was
miss.
great. And I love the hef and the logo and the branding is just top notch.
Yeah.
We
It's very clean for
bought
sure.
hats and
And
shirts.
I don't know, I think the tap room is very Saskatchewan,
Yeah,
just the, metal.
Well, it just
pole
looks like a
barn
big shop
with,
almost, right?
with overhead
Yeah.
doors and,
Yeah.
yeah.
and we'll be back even that way, maybe for JL. I think it's JLG Shepherd Farms or Hop Farm just nearby. They do an event later in the summer, so
Oh, yeah. Okay.
we'll go back and see them.
Try
So
some hops off the vine.
There we are.
there we go. But then we went to Brandon and made our way to Section 6 and then into Farmery at Neepawa and then
Yeah.
into Winnipeg. So it took about
Took 10 hours for.
10
a
hours
5-hour
to get
drive.
a
Yeah.
5-hour drive. But
We just doubled the time. We're all about doubling our numbers
Yeah.
on this
but
podcast, doubling the number on our travel time.
perfect.
Yeah.
But thanks to everybody that gave us everywhere we go, they were giving us tours and met some great people and learned about their process. But we had a unique experience in Winnipeg. We were just there for work actually, but we organized
A beer tour.
a little beer walking tour downtown, and we had 50 people with us. And
Yeah, we just wanted our colleagues to join in the fun times we have.
exactly,
Yeah,
and so
we needed people to affirm what we were doing.
yeah, and they all
Look at
had,
it, how about my friends?
Yeah, exactly.
See, it's okay.
We
It's-
are the big beer dogs.
Yeah.
and what's funny, they're all been following us since and
Yeah.
sending us information on their favorite places. But we started at Devil May Care, went on to Lake of the Woods, over to Little Brown Jug, and then over to Nonsuch, which all
For some great burgers and
Yeah.
great beer.
I was so like,
Yeah.
no one ever goes to Winnipeg on purpose, but to find like so many great
Yeah.
breweries, like I was so surprised.
And
I mean,
every
that
place
first
was-
night was like,
Yeah.
my
Yeah.
cup was full.
yeah, and every place is so unique and
So unique and such a strong vision, which
Yeah.
is cool. Like it's not just a like little restaurant that, well, a brewery that's
Yeah.
just serving beer. Like they have like a whole vision
Exactly.
behind it
Yeah.
with their beers tied into it. It's super good.
Well,
Yeah,
Devil
like-
May Care is so close to the forks and stuff, which is cool. And they got a nice bright open, you could host lots of people in there for an
Yeah.
event. Lake of Woods would be perfect when there's a hockey game. It's all
100%.
attached there.
All attached to the food
Well,
upstairs.
yeah, and the food court upstairs, like it just
Little brown jug in the old stables there, and
Yeah.
how they kept the feel of those
Yeah.
old.
and their
Yeah.
patio on
And in
On
that
the-
I
area,
want to go
like,
back when
all
it's
in the
those,
summer.
patio season.
Yeah.
but that whole factory area and
Yeah.
like these brownstone buildings, it's
I
so
was
unique
scared
in
on
there.
that walk a little bit.
A little
there for
scared on the
couple
walk in
blocks.
between,
but
but
then you felt like at home as soon as you
Yeah,
got
yeah.
into
I
the
really
bar.
loved the
Yeah.
little brown jug, and we're excited to
We
go
did.
back. That patio, you have to go back in the middle of the summer. The patio is beautiful.
Oh,
But
for
then
sure.
the big surprise of the night was Nonsuch, and I didn't know what to expect.
Oh,
And we, thanks to them for getting us in, we weren't sure if we'd all fit there. I think it was about 20 some of us that went
No, we
at the
fit.
end of the night.
oh yeah.
But aesthetically pleasing. The place
Like
is just
that,
beautiful.
that rain room or what, I don't know what they call it.
I think it was
with all
like
the
string.
I think it was
Yeah.
like 1 trillion tassels,
Yeah.
different colors hanging in different.
Yeah.
Yeah, super cool.
Yeah.
They said they put it all up there, and the fire marshal made them take it all down and spray it all with
Yeah.
a fire retardant
Yeah, they
solution
had to
and
do
then
it
put it
twice.
back up.
Yeah, so they know how to do it.
But
That would make, I never even thought about
yeah.
that, but yeah, that would
but
catch on fire
great
down
beers.
quick.
You had one Caribou that you really
Caribou,
liked.
yeah.
And they're Métis owned, and it was
Yeah.
very cool. And there's a burger on the menu, and we've heard it's called Le Burger,
The burger.
and we didn't know what to expect it. And it was the end of the night, we we're hungry, and we'll have one of those $14 burgers.
Yeah.
And we ordered,
Expecting something like
yeah,
gigantic, and it comes out, it's a 3-biter
and
Oh,
it's tiny,
unreal
and it was like ground chuck with,
with
but
brisket.
it was like a rink burger, but just on steroids.
Next level.
And we all ordered a second one.
Yeah.
It was
You're like,
amazing.
yeah, that was
It was
$14.
fine.
but I need one
Paying
more. of those.
$28 for
Oh,
2 burgers, but
and
it was
we wanna go
worth
back
it,
and have another one.
100%.
Yeah, my caloric count was high that day.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
One thing we should mention at Lake of the Woods is we're gonna go back and we're gonna buy one of their bottles. They
Yeah, that's cool.
in
That's-
the right before winter, they put a whole pallet of bottles
A whole
underneath
crate.
the Lake of the Woods.
Yep.
And let it freeze, or they let it brew, cold brew, I guess, or something underneath the
cold
ice
ferment, I don't know what
all
you call it.
throughout
I
the
guess
winter,
I'm
and
not a
they
beer maker, I'm a beer drinker.
Yeah,
they
I
bring them
know
all
how to
back
drink
up.
well.
They bring them all back up and sell them off the shelf there. So we're gonna go back and grab one of those. But
Yeah,
and then we were lucky enough, we stayed another night, and the next day we went really hard, and we started our day.
So many great places.
Yeah,
yeah.
we were at Trans-Canada. We stopped at Fort Garry. We didn't realize they didn't have a
Tap
room.
room. We
tap
went
room.
there.
We went there,
We checked it
Yeah.
off the list.
grabbed a couple
Couple-
things
There
there,
was a little check mark on our Excel spreadsheet, so
but then we headed over to I think from there we went to the west side and we went
Half
to
Pints.
Half Pints, which had a great experience.
they had that ghost
Yeah,
one that was almost like a peach
Yeah.
beer. It was super
Yeah,
good.
they had
some
Bud
good
Light
stuff.
on tap there too.
Oh yeah,
They had
nice
a
water tap.
Water
Go
dispenser.
check us on Instagram. There's
Yeah.
a nice little reel.
But what was cool is I think that's one of the OGs of the Winnipeg
Yeah.
brewery scene, and so it's
That's
nice.
what they were
It's a
saying.
neighborhood feel
Yeah,
place.
near the
Yeah.
airport.
Kind of like multi.
We went over to Torque, which they give us another tour there, which is great.
It's amazing what happens when you walk in with matching shirts on, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then I'm just
Everybody-
in there behind them filming.
Dylan
so
just
it
walks
works.
in.
Yeah,
Everyone's like, what's, who's the?
yeah. There's no consent form signed. What are we doing?
and then
Consent.
Yeah,
if you're a fan of the like different types of beer and really well-made beer, we went to Oxus, which is not a huge tap room, nothing special from the outside, but they also brew for other startups. And they've won tons of awards at the Prairie Beer Awards,
Yeah.
and so that was a nice stop for quality and to try different things. And then we went on to
Are you gonna remember everyone?
yeah, and go all the way through.
this guy.
But
He's the
we-
walking spreadsheet.
Yeah, the whole spreadsheet. But from there we went to Good Neighbor, which is really cool,
Yes.
clean beers. And then one of the bigger surprises.
Clean
for
beers
me-
is the perfect way to describe it because they're also like light, but they have
Yeah,
good
it was
taste
very good.
behind them,
and,
right?
and I bought some stouts from there and stuff,
Yeah.
but they're very easy drinking
Yes.
stouts. We're excited
You
to go
drink a
back there.
stout?
Oh yeah.
Wow.
You guys
But
are rubbing.
One of the bigger
Rubbing off.
surprises for me
Yeah,
on,
you are.
on day 2 is we ended up at Barnhammer, and they have some
Oh.
triple IPAs, and they had the barbecue going.
Yeah.
We didn't stay for barbecue, but I think that they were getting it ready for the
It
next
was the
day.
next day was the
That
lunch.
whole place
Yeah.
was just a whole mood. Like it was
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very industrial.
I was reading
Yeah.
on the website, they're self-funded, they're family-owned. They built that whole place themselves by hand.
oh shit.
All their people, all their staff that work there, they encourage them to get involved with the industry and learn how to make beer, not just serve beer. And it's really
Because there's
cool.
two
They're like
guys
an
that were
old-
there. They were super knowledgeable and
Yeah.
they were just working, right?
Yeah.
So
And they're like the OGs of Winnipeg, right? One
Yeah.
of the first craft.
Someone, it didn't sound
Microbrewery.
like it was back for enough. Someone said 2017. That doesn't feel like long enough ago, but kind of right when the craft beer scene was was taking
That would
off.
be,
They were
that
one
would
of
be
the
when it
first
was
ones.
taking it
Yeah.
off, but it's not old like Bushwhacker or something.
No.
But
It's been around since
but-
1990s.
yeah,
80s, 70s.
and then it's all a blur from there. I can't remember where we ended up, but we.
Is it?
You guys remember? We ended up at
Um,
Kilter at the end of the night. We ended up at Brazen Hall. Kilter
Yes.
is just a beautiful place with
Oh.
all their and some great beers and merch.
Such a
and
I feel
cool.
it's very
you had a
tropical there.
tropical
yeah,
vibe.
tropical.
Yeah.
You had a
Couches.
grilled cheese. You were very hungry at the end of the night.
Oh, yeah, that's
Oh,
what we.
yeah.
And we met our friend May that made a recommendation the
Yes,
next
Yes,
day
if
for
you're
breakfast.
ever in Winnipeg, go eat at
Do you remember?
Wannabes.
Yeah, for breakfast.
For breakfast.
It doesn't look
Don't
like
call me
much
for
on
the
the
name of the
outside,
place.
but just get
Yeah,
inside
yeah.
and meet
Oh.
them and they'll
You
they'll
kind of
serve
want to
you
back
alcohol.
in the door and
You
watch.
definitely want to
Yeah.
order rye toast.
Yeah, or
they
they'll
make
tell you.
Or
make
they tell
order
you.
the right toast.
Yeah. But it was worth it for sure.
What other ones do we hit though? Because it feels like there's a big gap there on that before.
Low life,
Oh yeah,
Low Life.
Low Life is just amazing.
Sucrums.
Sucrums.
very high end. I like it.
Yep. Low
I wanna
Life
go-
had
that's
the,
my
the barrels
first
and
one.
the yeah.
I want to go back to that low life.
It reminded me of establishment in Calgary, like barrel aged.
Oh, for sure,
And
very-
they,
Those
they
big
even
oak
make their own
barrels.
wine
Yeah.
and stuff there too, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it was very tied to wine, but such a huge space, and we were there, of course, on a quiet night, and we want to go back when these places are full and have a different experience.
Of course, you can follow us on Instagram and you can see a reel. Are they called reels?
They're called reels, Brad. Yeah.
We've been-
With
and
the times
of,
we
of
are.
each brewery we visited. They're not all out yet, but they will.
Yeah,
be.
but
Yeah.
we probably put a good 10 out already.
Oh, for
and,
sure. Yeah.
and
Just kind of showcase the whole
yeah, and
experience and place itself.
we were at Sucrums. It was very end of the night. It was quite quiet, but Miss Sucrum was there.
Yeah, that one.
And
Got on the back a
telling
little
us the
tour.
story and
Yeah.
showed us around a bit. And that's it was hard to find the little location, but it was a nice space.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, that was right after Low Life.
and then we had to run over to Kilter. That was the end of the.
Is that all of them?
Then
I
we
feel
went
like I
to.
should open
Brazen.
up the spreadsheet.
Yeah, we did
was
miss
last.
some, but
I
I
don't-
sure feel like we missed some in between there. But the next day we, while Brad's looking that up to make sure we didn't miss any, we got up and got moving. Of course, we're at the Forks, so there's a place there to do the I forget what that place is called, but you can test all types of local craft beer at the Forks.
Yeah. I forget what the name of it was, but
and-
it's just in the center
Yeah, right
between
in
the
the center.
market.
It's a great place if you want to just test a bunch of
Yeah.
local craft beer. But
Cool
we
place to
actually-
hang out too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And then we actually hit the highway and we went north and we made it to oh boy,
I can
Gimli,
Gimli,
Manitoba.
yeah,
Yeah. I was
And
like, I
went to-
remember walking the front door.
And we were at Interlake Brewing, which is a
Yeah.
great place right on the beach. We were there. Of course, there's still ice on the water, but
And that's another place that you definitely want to hit in summer because the rooftop patio.
yeah,
Very
right on the
nice.
beach. And
Yeah.
you go during
That
the
was
Icelandic
really-
festival.
It'd be really cool to go in the summer and
Oh,
sit on
yeah.
that patio upstairs.
And
Spend a
then-
couple hours
Then
there
it
for
took us
sure.
about 12 hours to get home from there for some reason, but we stopped in Dauphin. We went to Obsolete Brewing.
We have a special talent on making
Yeah.
these short trips a lot longer than
We
you.
can make any trip longer.
Yeah.
We can double A trip, just
Yeah.
And but what an experience at Obsolete in Dauphin, Manitoba, and
Yeah, that
met
was super cool.
Marcos and their brewer, and
Yeah.
had
Got
some.
the whole history lesson of that brewery too.
We had their hazy
we had some
Atari
beer
right
right
off
out of
the,
the tank.
and it was really good.
Oh,
And
super fresh.
they've won some great awards. He was actually named Brewer of the Year last year at the Canada Cup.
Yeah, that was the guy that we
Brewing
met
Awards.
that just, yeah,
Marcos, yeah.
Yeah.
And then we stopped really quickly in Yorkton at the
yeah.
back 40 to grab some off sale and headed back home.
That was
I'd
the
like to go
tail
back-
end.
Actually, I'd like to go back there.
Yeah, it was great.
I
It's a
mean,
nice space. They
Sit
have
down,
great
and the
pizza.
food smelled good. I
Yeah,
don't know
I know.
what type of food they had, but I would
Yeah.
definitely,
Taproom food.
So
yeah.
Dylan, what's your favorite place or dog, I guess? What's your favorite place?
This is dog on beer, that's big.
Yeah.
Uh,
That's where the
big
name
beer
came from.
dogs.
but
Uh,
what's for vibe and stuff? And what place are you excited to hit next time we're back that way?
Definitely Low Life for sure, just because that was kind of, we were rushing to get everything before everything closed.
Yeah.
And we didn't really get to appreciate it for what it was, and it was a little quiet at that point in time.
Yeah.
Non such, just the vibe was unmatched, and I need another one of those burgers. So
Yeah.
definitely go back there. And Little Brown Jug, I really think would be super sick to hit in the summertime,
Mhm.
just because the patio was very
Yeah.
good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I don't want to sound like a dog, but I agree 100% with all three of
It's
them.
great to sound like a dog, don't you worry.
I want to go back to Kilter was a little bit out of the way, but I just loved
Yeah.
it there. I thought I would like to give it another shot when it's a little bit busier, which always seems to be the case with a lot
Yeah.
of our stuff.
Yeah.
Brazen Hall, I've heard people go back and have great dinners. We were there end of the night.
It was so
quiet
late, there
again.
were only 5 people in there, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
We
Little
made
Brown
friends.
Jug is up there too.
We're good at making friends.
Some of those, and Those are my big ones. I'm excited to go back to Good Neighbor and have lunch or something
Oh,
next
yeah,
door,
actually, I
next
forgot about
door.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And
Because we did
experience the
hang
whole
out in
thing.
the tap room for a while, but it was super small. But to
Mhm.
experience the food will definitely be.
And I think next time we're in Winnipeg, there's some speakeasies and rooftop bars and stuff that are gonna
Yeah.
be open, hopefully.
Yeah.
And, but
But
overall,
big.
yeah,
Where's your top one to go back to? Because you asked me,
I
Beer over
think
here.
Kilter is there and
Yeah.
Little Brown Jug. I think I'm most excited for those
Yeah.
and maybe Non-Such. I had a different, it was pretty busy when we were there, but just to
Yeah.
give it
Non-such, I
another
feel
shot.
like we hit at the right time. I
We
just
didn't
need to
really
go back.
because we had our walking tour buddies. We didn't really hit it as the big
Yeah.
beer dogs. It was more,
Yes, this is true.
we weren't there to judge it.
Yeah.
And,
The judges need to come through one more time.
but,
Appreciate it when they say.
Yeah.
judge.
but no, I have a much bigger appreciation for Winnipeg and the amount of restaurants and opportunities there for
Oh, yeah.
the brewery scene is just unbelievable. We did miss one on the way through Brandon, so I want to go back and get to Blackweed.
Yes.
And there's two in the southern part of the province in Steinbeck and Morden, and we would be able to cross off 100%.
So that's all we're saying is
Manitoba.
another long trip ahead for the Beer Dogs.
Yeah.
And we're looking at the calendar, and it just happens. We went last year to the Prairie Beer Awards. They were in Regina
At the German club.
at the German club, and we had a great experience. And we noticed that they're in Winnipeg at the end of May, which we were just in Winnipeg in April, but
But if we have to go back,
Yeah.
if we have to go
Twist
back.
our rubber arm.
So it sounds like that would be a great time to go, but watch our Instagram later today. I think we're gonna campaign. We want to be a part of that. Last time we went, it was
you guys want to do this?
Yeah, I can be swayed. I can be swayed.
because,
That's what Meg would say.
That is something Big would say.
but when we went last year, we were sitting with all the brewers and it got to meet a lot of these people and talk about their breweries and all that stuff and then celebrate them. But there wasn't a lot of beer fans there. So we're like, beer fans need to
It's
be
okay
part
to
of
be a
this.
groupie, a beer
Yeah.
groupie. Like,
Yeah.
we are big.
We
beer
are
nerds.
beer groupie in matching t-shirts. So
But now that we've been to all these breweries, it has a whole new meaning to go again. And because last year when we went, it was like, oh, Devil May Care and Oxus, and they won all these awards, Little Brown Jug,
We didn't.
and we didn't really know who they
yeah.
were, and now we do. So it'll be
Yeah.
great to go back. And of course, some of our favorites from Saskatchewan, and we're going to revisit those guys
Yeah.
this summer and hit a lot of
Saskatchewan's
those.
where it's at.
Some great beer here. We're if you don't know, we're a block away to Rebellion, Regina Brewing, Bushwhacker. We're a short drive to Multinational,
yeah,
Pile of Bones.
District is just over there.
District. We got some great breweries all within, and actually there's a hop circuit coming out. We'll have to jump on some scooters and do
Yeah.
a tour around Regina.
I feel like we could make a nice reel out
Sometime.
of
The
that.
nice thing about Regina is you can be at any tap room in
Yeah.
8 to 10 minutes.
And one of our favorites, Nokomis, is only an hour and some drive away. We're going to make sure we hit there this
Big
summer.
fan.
Big
Big
fans of
fan.
them and maybe a trip to Saskatoon. So
Yeah,
Just stay tuned. Is that what
stay
they do?
tuned.
but we're gonna need some
Watch
help
our
on
reels.
Yeah.
Instagram. Make sure you're following us. We're gonna be doing a post later today. We want to be a big part of that Prairie Beer Awards at the end of the month in Winnipeg. Watch what we're doing there and please share our reels. The more eyeballs we can get on that stuff, the more we can support breweries.
Yep.
We're celebrating 55,000 views so far. We just launched that account this month and it's growing like crazy. And we'll be
Some
back.
beer
with-
lovers out there.
There's some beer lovers and we'll be back for
Wait,
episode
yeah.
3 short enough.
And to be serious for a minute, if that's possible for me, I
We'll see.
I truly want it. I mean, one of the best things, like I think that you've alluded to, is that if it wasn't for that little brewery in that town, you would never stop there,
Yeah.
right? And
Mhm.
it's so great to be able to stop by and support these places.
Yeah.
Learn about their vision
And-
and be a part of what they're doing.
No one knows this yet, but we walk in with the matching t-shirts and everybody's like, you guys want a tour? Like, are you on a beer tour?
Yeah.
What's going on? And we get a chance to talk with everybody and just hearing the story and
Yeah.
often about what they have planned for that community.
Yeah,
They don't
like,
want to just be a brewery and
They're
sell
gonna
some-
build green space and
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're building
Oh yeah, I forgot about
all
that.
these,
Yeah.
but all these places are community spaces. They're hosting trivia nights, they're hosting
Yeah.
meetings for the local whatever, and they're becoming community spaces. They're not just breweries. It's not
No,
about
no, it's
No,
not
it's
about that. As
bringing
much
the
as we
whole-
love the beer, there's so much more.
It's bringing everyone
And-
together, which is super nice.
And if you're not a beer drinker, what I've noticed especially we were at Section 6, we were at Barnhammer, we were at all these places, they all have such great non-alcoholic options.
Mhm.
Section 6 had a great
yeah.
cooler full of
I
options.
took some home.
Yeah,
Barnhammer had some really cool.
I had a stout at Barnhammer because I was
non-alcoholic.
driving and
Yeah.
and then also we I think it's Sundog has the canned coffee that we had at Section
yeah.
That's
6.
actually, yeah,
And they're a Manitoba startup too. So
yeah, those were
Um,
very good. Yeah, we all
yeah.
had one each on our drive up there. So
yeah.
Some rejuvenation.
Yeah.
yeah,
But
little
thanks
bean
for
water.
thanks for listening to our little show, and we'll be back in episode 3 whenever we got time, and
Yeah.
and we'll have an update with what we're doing when we go back to Winnipeg and any other trips we make. So thanks for listening.
Yes,
Thanks for listening. Talk about us.
thanks.